Hey guys, I'm Matt Lighty, and this is a video where I look at the current question sticky thread on Reddit. So this is it's old school Lighty video. It's just we're doing it live. I asked a question on Reddit: did Expedition heist lockers merge to standard? Because mine haven't yet, and it's been like, an entire day, and that was super sus to me. And it said my post has been removed. Please direct short questions to the questions thread, which I didn't even know fucking existed. So I asked it here, and of course I haven't been answered yet because this place seems like kind of like a wasteland. But yeah, I was just curious what kind of questions are here because there's so many. So I think it'd be funny to go through some and just see this, Jesus Christ, the scope in these answers and just like what exactly is going on in the trenches. So here's one. Could somebody link me a video of a streamer reacting to dropping a mage blood, being super hyped, but not in an obviously acting way? Yeah. It is a very oddly specific question. I have a clip of this from Gwennon, if that helps. Can you synthesize, Cece, essence mods with harvest? I know meta mods don't work with essence, but no idea if there are other restrictions. Would like to know if it's even possible before I try my luck. I assume he means fracturing. You could fracture essence mods. Yes, it's actually a great way to get two essence mods in the same item. Cool example, this is getting things like reduced mana reservation fractured on a helmet, then also getting like the +2 AoE gems for like auras and stuff. Where do I find a general outline on speed running the campaign? Yeah, people like Tai are a good example of that. Can we expect controller support to come to Mac OS as other? Oh no. Not Path Mac. How do I actually merge my map stash? Now I have a Scourge stash and remove only Arch Nemesis stash. How do I end up with just one? Both have hundreds of maps. I really don't want to sort them manually. Yeah, you just have to remove them and do it manually. That's the only way to do it. This is true. Most people treat the remove only tabs like they don't exist. If you wait till the league ends, you can do the convert function, but it'll only convert as much as it can fit. If it can't fit anymore, they're just gonna rot there. So I do it manually, and then I put them on hidden, basically. Anyone know when we can expect to know where the Apothecary div card drops, which is the 5 cards for Mage Blood? There will be a post on Reddit almost always. There's also a dedicated Discord to divination card finding. I'm not sure if it's still linked to it on the Reddit. I know that Sir Gog used it when I spoke to him last about it, but there is a Discord for divination card locations. So if you could find that, that's a good location reference table for all divination cards, and it's much more up-to-date than the Wikipedia. This guy actually is having the same issue from 6 hours ago. Their expedition and heist lockers have not merged, so that is good to know I'm not alone on that one. Casual player here, really struggling to decide whether to start League with Scaling Mages or Seismic Trap. Both are great. My dilemma is when I enter maps while I struggle with Seismic Trap without CIPs, I assume Cold Iron points. The build in general seems to need a lot of uniques. I don't think that's true. For Scaling Mages, I'm not sure how good Absolution before leveling is. It is very good. Yep, so I suggest that. Before Dread Reckoning being the jewel that converts your skeletons to mage form. Yeah, I mean, you could Absolution until that. They're both fine. Seismic is fine with Exsanguinate for clear. Totally fine. Both are fine. You'll have no problems in either. When cashing in div cards from an item, what are the odds of getting a 6 link? This is a good question. So if you were to just hand in a div card like Carrion Crow, there's basically 2 checks that pass. So the first check is the odds of it hitting a 6 socket, which I believe is roughly like 1 in 300-ish. And then it rolls the standardized links for the link socket. So it's just like it's going to be 1 in 1250. So it's a 1 in 3. Oh, my phone's ringing. Hi, I'm returning to PoE. Couldn't play anymore with my PC and want to know if I could do the heist farming using de-leveling to get more contracts I saw on YouTube, or is it patched or changed? You still can de-level yourself to effectively farm Heist Infinitely if you want to. I still would just recommend going, kind of blowing past the first 90 levels of the game and just going to red maps. But yeah, you can still de-level and infinitely farm Heist. Since there don't seem to be any passive skill tree changes or standard characters not going to receive the free respec, they will. But one thing I didn't see answered is if we're going to actually get an Atlas tree respec in standard. That I'm not sure about, since this is the first league we're resetting since the Atlas tree was implemented. I hope we get a free reset in the Atlas tree. If not, that'd be a bummer. Do you get an additional repeat if you get over 100% increased effect of an Echoing Shrine? You should. It should scale into 1 extra repeat. I'm once again playing SSF, but I'm a bit burned out on the Garden for Crafting, meaning Harvest. I am, of course, still taking Essence, but what league mechanic would be good to invest in? This guy says Expedition, this guy says Expedition, and the answer is, yeah, correct, Expedition is probably the next best thing. Expedition or Heist are basically the 2 best leagues after Harvest for just general things, if you're looking for crafting specific. Both are not amazing. Rog is Rog. He can craft things, or he can give you absolutely nothing for 3 months in a row. but the you know, the chances are quite good. Essence is still, I would say, king at the moment. With the amount of essences you can get, and considering it's also on the map device for like 3 chaos, Essence is pretty much the ruler. Second to that would be Harvest and probably Expedition. Does the Tormented Spirit passive item quantity also affect the Exiles that have Exiled Will? Yeah, long story short, all the Torment stuff, it, you know, affects all the Exile stuff. That's because, like this man's saying, it is very rippy. This is what I did on the League launch for the last League in Arch Nemesis. Having all the Torment stuff and having all the Rogue Exile stuff is amazing. Super, super strong if you're blowing through like tier 1 maps, but you start to do higher tier content, and those Exiles that are double ghosted sometimes and are super juiced with the bodyguards at the boss that take like 90% reduced damage is super rippy. Fantastic early on if you could push through it, but this becomes like an impenetrable wall of hate to have to travel through. What should I be looking for as my League star if I want to do a bunch of Blight and Blighted maps? Yeah, people tend to do minion builds are pretty popular. Anything that has explosions. Pretty much for Blight, it's like you could just rely on towers. You know, towers are good enough now that you could pretty much just go full tower. Blight Ravage maps are a world of difference. Like, the gap between a tier 1 Blight map and a tier 16 is nothing compared to the gap between a tier 16 and a Blight Ravage. So, for doing Blight and Blighted maps, really any build works. Minions, explosions are great. Anything with Proliferate is great. But you can pretty much do whatever you want. Tanky Soul Self on hardcore build there for a person with 2 left hands. I don't know if this is you physically are deformed or this is some sort of euphemism for the fact that you're fumbly. But either way, I would definitely say like Champion would be my go-to still, I would say. Champion with max suppression, elemental ailment immunity, grace, determination, defiance banner. Any build like that is going to be super chonky, and then you can get your damage wherever you really want, whether it's like a bow skill, something like a bleed, or a toxic rain, or something even like Helix with a high elemental damage. I can't find 2022 daily deals. When will the stash tabs be on sale? Usually one after League launch. Yeah, I mean pretty much the 3rd weekend there's always a stash sale, and almost always the weekend after League launch or during League launch, there's also stash tab sale. Has there been any official word from GG regarding crystallized omniscience drop rates? I'm planning on my starter. Will have to become expensive. They have been adjusted in some way. We have no idea how rare it is. Its current drop rate is, I believe, 20 or 25%. We have no idea what number that's going to become. I can't imagine it's lower than 10% though, at the worst. Having skipped Expedition League and ignoring the mechanic ever since, I'm going to fully invest into this league. I'm planning on playing RF Inquisitor. Any tips, advice for getting the most out of it? You can check out Manny's guide here. So here's a link to, let's go launch. Manny's Expedition Strategy Guide. I really wouldn't trust Manny because he's a shady person. I'm just kidding. We're actually having the podcast with Manny and Leggy in about an hour from now. So, but if you do have some information, there's his basic guide. And here we are, pretty much back to the top. Let's just ask what's the most recent question? Am I right in thinking you can't do the Iron Fortress strength stacking with Auros as the weapon doesn't deal any physical damage? Or am I something wrong? It does not work. It deals no damage. So, there you go. But yeah, that was some time on the questions thread. This is just, we're done. End of video.